You know, I had to come on here making a video about how to get what you want because I am sick and tired of you sleeping on your potential. Seriously, there's nothing else standing in the way but this one thing, and I'm about to blow your mind right now. I'm actively realizing it, I'm actively growing from it, and I'm actively fighting it. But it takes an awareness of this one thing. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jovelle. I pop into YouTube to talk about my journey. I am running for Miss Philippines end of the year. So if you want to follow along my journey towards becoming my best self, I'm going to give you all my tips and insights, all the resources, everything that I've learned so that you don't have to struggle in the same way I did and you can become your best self with me. So follow along and let's get started. Yeah, I wrote a lot of notes here. It just talks about kind of what I learned in my experience, and I was essentially journaling, doing shadow work, realizing the patterns in my life, and I want to talk about it because maybe it'll help somebody out there realize what they're doing with themselves. This is a conversation that my younger self yearned to have so many times, despite many attempts of asking people like, hey, what should I do with my life? I'm feeling a little lost, I'm feeling a little scared, and then going back to like the same 50 lists of college degrees and not finding anything that resonated with me. And it's nothing against college. I totally believe in college and higher education. Right now, and what's been continuous in my life was that I've always wanted to be a business owner. And a lot of people who do want to be business owners or not have to work for other people, they kind of feel like fish out of water when they are forced to decide on a major. But that is safety, that is stability for a lot of people. So no shame in that. And I know that that is what we crave, because being an entrepreneur means stepping into the dark zones where you're not sure if all of your effort is going to lead to wasted, intangible results or not. And you see people around your age or even younger nowadays, there's like 15-year-olds becoming millionaires. You see these people and you think you're incompetent, but you're not. In reality, you know what you want. You don't have to be asking everybody what you think you should do. You know what you want because you can't stop thinking about it. Don't you think that if you really didn't want to do that thing, it wouldn't be a continuous thought in your head? Like, why would it be taking up mental real estate if you really didn't want to do it? Also, look how extra I am with this mic. I got it so I could teach dance classes without straining my voice, and it actually sounds so fire, like when you sing onto the mic. Like, I was thinking of doing a karaoke session with this in like the dance studio with the strobe lights. Could you see it? So we're gonna talk about how you need to stop doubting your potential and go after what you really want in life. So right now you're in that phase where you're kind of still thinking about other people's opinions, and you're basing all, well, not all, but you're basing a lot of your decisions off of them because you don't want to be perceived a certain way. You're trying to control how you're being perceived. So for now, you're stacking up these accolades and small wins just to look like you're doing all right and like have a path in life, but you're not really figuring it out. And why is that? It's because you're worried about everybody else and you're not thinking about yourself. What do you want?
What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
Pretend you move to a new country, everybody's a stranger, nobody knows your name. What would you then do if you were to restart and you didn't have this framework of what you were born into, what was set up for you, what you were guided into? What would you do if you were to erase everything and just start over from zero? From square one. Also, it's important to realize that whatever you choose now, it's just for that season of your life. You don't know if you're gonna stick with it. I've talked to like some older people and they sound like they lived multiple lives. Like, they've done a bunch of careers, they've dabbled in a lot of things, so you have a lot of time on your hands, and now would be the time to explore them. And how are you supposed to know if something is for you or not unless you try it? I'm kind of in that phase of experimentation where I'm trying a whole bunch of things. Jack of all trades, master of none, but I'm totally cool with it because I'm in that exploratory stage where I'm figuring out really what I want to do. And deep down, I know what I want to do. So number one is you need to stop lying to yourself. You're not incapable. It's not a lack of knowledge or a lack of equipment. It's a lack of accountability and self-discipline. It's not that you don't want it bad enough. It's that you're scared. Like, it means so much to you. You want it so bad that you're scared of the potential of failing at it. And you rather fail at things that don't carry so much emotional weight, because when you care so much about it, you identify with that thing. And then suddenly your life is on the risk. Your whole ego, your whole identity is on the risk. So it's harder to just take action on the things that really truly matter to you. But we have to, because it's in the build-up, it's in the little mistakes that we make that's going to lead us to the top. But we have to start now. It's not until you're in the thick of it and you're actively trying to do your part in it every day that you realize that there's going to be so many days where you want to quit, where you face a wall of like, is this really for me? Am I the right person to be doing this? Shouldn't I just go the safe route? That's when you push back harder. That's shadow work. Shadow work isn't just journaling, prompts, asking questions. You know, that's all a part of it. But the biggest form of shadow work comes when you are trying to talk yourself off of that edge of the cliff. You know, when you're like about to dive into the water, get that exhilarating feeling, reach the bottom, your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, your dream life. You're talking yourself out of jumping off the cliff into your dreams, into your aspirations, because you're scared. You're scared because there is a lot of risk when you're doing that. You could land incorrectly. You could end up with a huge bruise. You could be injured. There's so many things that get in our way. And we have to actively talk ourselves out of sabotaging ourselves, the self-sabotage, because our mind wants to retreat back into our comfort zones, but we can't let it. We can't let it. I know that it's easier, but we've been doing this for how long now? Like, don't you think it's time to move past it by now? Aren't you a little curious and want a little taste of what your dream life is going to be like? Because you know that it's this one thing, one action, one thing that you face the most resistance with that's holding you back, and all you needed to do was just talk yourself out of it. Actively take accountability for it, because you're the only one keeping yourself from your dreams. Do you not realize that? Like, people don't have to believe in you at all. Like, you can take action despite it. Someone could be your reason for taking action. You could look at it that way, but instead you're using all these external forces to justify why you're not doing it. Moment of silence. So yeah, realizing that if it's taking up so much mental real estate in your head, if it occupies a lot of your day, maybe it's not procrastination, maybe you're just genuinely interested in that thing. Naturally gravitate towards what you're looking up. Like, have you ever considered maybe that's what you want to do? Because you're naturally inclined to research it and learn more about it. And if you're just like this with everything, then that's different, that's general, but guarantee you have like a list of 3 or 4 things that you continuously go back to. Also, being scared to admit that you want something because you don't have the results to prove it yet. When you're a freshman and you're like, oh, I want to be a biology major, to be a biologist, people are like, wow, she's got it down, she's got it figured out. But you don't know if she's going to change her major like 2 weeks before graduating, which happens, and you don't know if she's going to land a job. So stop focusing on other people, focus on yourself and your own journey, because you're going to get there. You're going to get there in a completely different way than somebody else. Their journey is completely separate from yours, and you could even be trying the same thing as them and then change your mind down the line. That's okay too. I've done lash tech, real estate, marketing, sales, dance, worked part-time jobs in wellness and acutherapy. I feel like I've done it all. I'm probably forgetting a few things like modeling and singing, just a bunch of things that I've tried in the past. I'm not pursuing every single one of them, but at one point I actually was actively pursuing every single one of them, and I felt so burnt out. Like, I was so lost, confused, didn't know what I was doing, but I felt like moving forward despite not knowing helps me so much to narrow my list down, and I wouldn't go back and do it differently. Because what a lot of people fall into is they get stuck thinking about their potentialities. You should watch the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, because it talks about your multiple timelines that you could live, and it shows her, okay, I'm not going to spoil it because I don't really know how to describe movies without spoiling them, but this was me after that movie. I was bawling my eyes out. It was an amazing movie. And then I tried to watch it like 2, 3, 4 more times with other people, and then they just weren't paying attention, and I was like, so you gotta pay attention for that movie because it's worth it. Just sit back and enjoy it, okay? Trust me. Love is really close to hate, because so many days I want to talk myself out of doing what I really want to do. And then people think, like, when they get like that, oh, maybe it's really not for me, and then they try to convince themselves that it's not for them, when in reality, anything you decide, it's going to have hard days, because that's just life. You're not going to feel like it sometimes. You even might hate it sometimes. So if you hate it, that's a stronger indication that you actually love that thing and it matters to you, because you wouldn't hate things that you don't care about. So don't give up on things too easily. Feeling not good enough, not ready, and just doubting yourself, that's something we all go through. Even if someone were to give you the blueprint and the whole life plan, quarterly calendar, vision board of what they want in the future, even they doubt themselves. The only difference between the two is one is actively trying to figure it out and moving forward despite the feelings that they may feel, and the other is letting those feelings debilitate them and just getting stuck in the I don't know, indecisive, trying to figure it out by not actually doing anything phase. And that can harm you because you don't want to make the wrong decision. You don't want to invest so much time into something that could be the wrong decision. But any skill you learn is just a tool for your toolbox that you could take with you into any other field that you do. So it's not a loss, it's a redirection. Nothing is wasted time if you learn something. I was a type to try to ask everybody and their moms what I should do, what they can see me doing. And I felt really lost because people seemingly knew what they wanted to do. But the thing is, you do know what you want to do. You're just not doing it, or you don't want to admit it. And you're trying to get validation from other people so that they can tell you what they can see you doing. Does that make sense? What I'm saying is that we really need to make the most out of our days, our precious life, our precious time here on earth. We're here for a good time, not a long time. And do you remember being like a little baby infant child just learning how to walk? Like, that went by like this, and now what is this? Like, we're full grown adults and we have to pay taxes, like, or you're probably in high school and you got a head start and you're a quick developer, which good for you, kudos to you for trying to figure your life out. But no matter what age you are, like, I feel like every phase of our life means something different to us, and we need to shift. We're humans, like, we're not meant to be stagnant. I mean, some people may be in the same job for the rest of their life, but their purposes or their directions may change. So this applies to everybody. Like, this decision making phase never stops, and I'm figuring that out as I see my mom shifting gears and trying different things and finding different passions even past 50. It doesn't stop, and she's very youthful. So you do have time, but at the same time you don't have time to waste. It's better to move forward not knowing and to just follow what appeals to you without thinking about like the ramifications, weighing the pros and cons, and just do it based off feeling. And if it excites you, if you feel like you're stuck between two things, choose the one that you feel like would give you the most experience, like the richest experience. The other one's probably just a safe option for you. I know it's scary to just like jump in there, imposter syndrome and all, but you know what's scarier? Doing nothing all day, just sitting on our butts, doom scrolling for the rest of our lives, and then realizing that we are on our deathbeds and we've done nothing and we're still thinking about what we want to do with our lives. To me, that's scarier. Like, I'd rather just get started now, eliminate some things off that list, be like, haha, hey, remember when I tried to do this? And you have that background knowledge. Sure, you may have wasted a little bit of money doing it, but now we can make smarter decisions in the future. Everything is a learning lesson. That's why we have to keep moving forward. Stop waiting until everything is perfect too, because you're gonna see people who are bodying the excuses that you're making and they're still doing it, like, despite all of that. But they're just like, what's up, I'm here. And you see someone else living your dream life and they're not letting that thing hold them back. So you can't either. It's all in here. It's all mental. Every day we need to like talk ourselves back into the game, because we'll try to cop out. We'll try to call in sick, be like, hey, I'm not feeling too well today. Like, can I just not play today? But you need to cheer. You need to be your own cheerleader. You need to be there with your jersey and be like, no. Be head coach. Like, talk yourself back into the game. You've prepared for this. You got this. Do what you gotta do. I don't care if you have to meditate, dance, go for a run, do like some kind of Superman power pose, like he in the mirror. I don't care what you have to do. Just do it. Blast some music in the car. Talk yourself out of it. The other day I was like, Jovelle, like, do you really want to do this again? Like, do you really think anything is going to change if you keep falling under this trap? Come on. Just, it's not that hard to just not, you know? It just takes a little bit of belief and mental work. And a lot of people don't want to waste their energy like thinking positively, because it's easier to think negatively. It takes less effort. But it's so worth it because you're programming yourself. You're creating that pattern and eventually you'll get easier. It'll just become habitual for you. That's how change really happens. It's all in a tiny step. Haven't you heard success is hidden in your daily routine? So imagine a daily routine of switching negative to positive, negative to positive. After a certain amount of time, it's just going to be positive, bucket overflowing. But you need to start here first. You need to start where you are. You can't just be like, no, I want to be this version of myself. And I'm not going to take action until I'm this version of myself. But this version of yourself is taking action despite everything. They're mentally, like you see all their attributes and qualities. It's not just going to grow out of nowhere, like pop up on your front door, be like, hey, you're your best self now. She needs to be here. They need to be built from the bottom up. Like you need to build a bear workshop over here, but with your dream self. And you need to start with the skeleton of who you are now. Then down the line, you can say, I built them. Yeah, I created this monster. But it takes effort. It's not just like you pop out of the womb and bam, you're your best self. I mean, actually, most of us are because we don't have like all these limiting beliefs around us. But essentially, we create them. The old version of ourselves has to die over and over and over again. Go through this whole life cycle. Just stay present. Talk yourself. Remind yourself what you want. Pray about it. And just keep swimming. Nothing that is too easy is worth it. The pain, the struggle, it's gonna come with the exhilaration, the wins. The ease comes with the struggle. It's that yin and yang. That polarity is what makes life so special. So don't run from these feelings of doubt or fear. They're so normal. They're just your mind trying to talk you out of things. Why do you want to self-sabotage so badly? Was it something somebody said in childhood? Is it a belief you're holding on to that no longer serves you, that isn't yours to carry, that doesn't align with your future self? How will not talking yourself out of this mindset harm you in the future? You're just going to keep repeating the same patterns. You need to actively talk yourself out of it, like your own therapist. If your child wants to eat a bucket of sugar and not sleep or brush their teeth, like if you're the parent, you'd be like, no, you're not. You are going to drink some water. You're going to bed because I said so. Like, you need to be stricter with yourself. Just because you don't have a parent telling you what to do, yes, you do. You need to be your own parent. Some people don't know how to operate without being told what to do. Like, they just don't know how to function without being told what to do. They rather be told what to do. That's what keeps them stuck in the same position, like the same job or the same major that they don't care about. It's because they don't know how to operate without being told what to do. Because you'll repeat the same habit until you start to disrupt that pattern. If you just accept it for what it is, then there you go. It's who you are. But if you want to change it, you can. But you need to disrupt the pattern because you're rewiring yourself every time you do so. You're forming a new neuron, a neural pathway, a new program that better serves you. That victim mentality might feel safe and comfortable in the moment because no matter what happens, good or bad, it's not on you, right? It's always another factor. And you're also not accountable to show up as your best self. So it does serve you in more ways than you realize, instant gratification wise, because somebody else will always be the problem. But it's not until you take 1000% accountability in your life down to your tiniest little decisions that life will finally start to work in your favor and you will start to feel in control of your life and you'll feel like you're owning it and that you're not an imposter. You're creating your own destiny, but it all starts from up here. Spending too much time thinking about how much time you wasted is just a cycle. It's a pattern. You need to disrupt it. It's a pattern. Because you're thinking about it again and again and again. You're just confirming your own beliefs and this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So instead, if you want to disrupt this pattern, what you got to do is take action. Keep showing up on off days. I don't care if you need to cry because your disciplined self is telling you that you need to do something that you don't want to do, because you'll respect yourself for it. Doesn't matter how badly you want to chicken out. Like, you could cry, throw a fit, throw a tantrum, but you're still going to do it because you said you would. Even on days when I felt like quitting, when I felt a little rough, sometimes I would show up and I'd feel so much better. The difference between me having a awful stagnant day to me feeling productive and that I move forward towards my goals that day. And for me, the most growth happened when I stopped calling in sick. As a kid, my mom was really chill, so she would let me take mental health days off of school and she would let me call in sick. So I wouldn't go to school and I was a little bit behind on my assignments. But what I would have done is I would have been like, okay, you might be feeling a certain way, but you're not sick. So you need to go to school and figure out a way to regulate your emotions because we can't always be deciding our actions this and that day based on our emotions and how we feel, especially as women, because our hormones are always fluctuating and we would get nothing done if we just operated purely on how we felt. Like, oh, I don't feel like it. It's highlighted even more when we're our own boss and we're not being told what to do. We can just be like, oh, I don't feel like it. But you need to act as if you're your own boss, your own teacher, because who else is going to? Nobody's gonna put the gavel down in front of you and be like, no, you need to work. What's gonna be a wake up call for you is that you're going to realize it's been 20 years and you've just been doing the same thing over and over again, doom scrolling. What motivates me too is I think about like finals week at school or the assignments and how rigorous they were and how much we would have to cram, sometimes pull all-nighters, stress out. But we don't have that kind of pressure anymore when we're not in school. So we need to create that for ourselves, especially as our own boss. Like sometimes we need to sacrifice the time that we would rather spend like relaxing on the beach, you know? So what happens is when you push through the limitations over and over again, eventually you come to realize that, you know what? I am the type of person that can keep a promise. I am the type of person that can show up even on rough days. And you realize that you're reliable for yourself and others. But alternatively, whenever you do feel like an imposter and you listen to that teeny little voice in your head telling you should quit and you listen to it, you keep ruminating on it and you freeze. But the moment you take action, you disrupt that pattern because you're not acting like an imposter anymore. You just gotta prove to yourself that you know what you're doing. For the longest time, like in dance, I would say I was a beginner, even though I've been dancing for a little bit over 5 years now, like around 5 years. I would be like, no, I'm still a beginner because I didn't trust myself on that level, like in terms of dance. And then after enough repetition, after enough times of wanting to quit, but realizing that, wait, I am capable of this, you just start to trust yourself and develop that trust. And you prove to yourself that you're capable and you're competent. And now I realize I'm not a beginner, I'm an intermediate advanced dancer now. I would say intermediate, but some people say advanced, but no, I'm definitely intermediate. You're literally the only one not letting yourself get what you want right now. And when you're stuck between two options, don't get stuck in decision fatigue. Just take action. What narrows it down is stop looking for plan Bs. I've had a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and I would be watering all of them, like one by one, just watering a little bit in each pot, but none of it would grow. It would barely sprout because I would keep abandoning it and abandoning it and abandoning it. And I realized that's not the way I want to do things. I want to give things my all, and I don't need a plan B. Like, I needed to trust myself. So I got rid of my plan Bs, and now I feel like I'm not doing enough, and there is that feeling, but I just remind myself it's an opportunity to press the brakes even harder because now you have less limitation, you have less excuses. In fact, you have no excuses. You have nothing holding you down but yourself. So yeah, that was my little spiel for today. I know it's been so long since I uploaded a YouTube video. I was just in my head, honestly, and I was so behind on editing. But I really like just not editing. I like very minimal editing and these talking videos. So if you enjoy it, little podcast style, I'm thinking of starting a podcast. I'm stuck between two names. One of them is Little by Little. Do you get it? Like little by little steps every day, or progress little by little. I really like it because like in the little things. And the other one is Hot and Happy, how to be hot and happy. It's a mentality. So let me know which one you guys like more in the comments section below. And until next time, good luck. I'll see you. Mwah.